Good morning, Peter Racy here, World War II Story YouTube channel, and we are in Darwin. It's the morning of the 20th of February 2025, and I'm here to record the cenotaph here. That was the centrepiece of the bombing of Darwin event yesterday. The only cenotaph in Australia that was actually bombed during any war in Australia's history. And 83 years ago, HMAS Swan, which was out in the harbour that way, was preparing to leave Darwin Harbour after suffering some shrapnel damage to go back to Brisbane, to the South Brisbane dry dock, to be repaired. And it was during that repair that the rear radio mast came off, went out to Runcorn, came back in to what was then the Queensland Maritime Museum in 1987, and was set up as a major entrance statement to the people who got off the ferries to come into Expo 88, and then later again was moved to be at the front entrance. And that, what is now a flagpole, is an incredibly important piece of history that needs to be looked after. It needs to be restored, and South Bank need to get off their backside and allow the Queensland Maritime Museum and the Australian Naval Association Queensland branch, and actually whoever else wants to come in and supervise the restoration and maybe its relocation. Who knows? There's a really amazing story to be told about the history of that flagpole, and it weaves so well into the other 200 odd World War II memorial parks, places, museums, whatever that Brisbane has. And it's an important aspect of our tourism as we march up to 2032. So let's just have a look around to document some other aspects that can be weaved into the story of that flagpole. Now let's move on. So in this next part of the YouTube, I wanted to draw your attention to not only the beautiful backdrop, but to this date stamp, in effect, on the cenotaph here. And that's important because in Brisbane, we actually have our own special tribute to the 15th of August 1945 in the form of the National Australia Remembers Freedom War at Mount Cootha. As you'd expect, there is the tribute and plaque to those who gave their life for the country during World War II. Behind the cenotaph, there is around 60 plaques along the baseline, and then there is about 12 information plaques that document the full history of the event on the 19th of February 1942. Very comprehensive. A very interesting photo showing the use of the Australian flag in the 1930s to clearly delineate what is Australian territory and what is not. And the main subject of our YouTube here, being the HMAS Swan, This is where it sat in the harbour on the 19th of February 1942. And you can see it's right in the middle of where the bombing and carnage occurred. As with a lot of war memorials, the viewing and reading of the plaques only but scratches the surface of the dedication of those who gave their life, lest we forget.